So Ayesha Curry is back at it again, completely disrespecting her husband. It's just ridiculous, right? She was recently on a Call Your Daddy podcast where she was talking about that she never wanted to be married. She didn't want no kids. She was looking to be a career woman. This is not what she asked for. Now we remember when she was when she did the Red Table Talk with Will Smith's wife, right, and her mother and Willow and all those, and she was talking about basically throwing her husband under the bus, right? She was saying that she was jealous of all the attention that her husband is getting, as opposed to her. And I'm like, newsflash, we only know you because of your husband. Like you signed on to be in the situation so you can live the lifestyle that you live in. Now, this is the thing, like I said yesterday, if you went to pursue your career in the life that you wanted, then you wouldn't have him as a husband because that's not the woman he was looking for. He hitched his wagon to a woman that's more of a traditional woman and wife. They have children. He go out. He bring home the bacon. He provide, right? And but this ain't obviously. This isn't what she wants. She wants to be in the limelight. She wants to be in the spotlight. She wants just as much attention as he's getting. Well, Corey Holcomb and Rivah TV got wind of this, man, and they start speaking on this and was really lighting her up, man. When it comes to this situation, right? Let's look at the first half of what they had to say about the situation, and then we'll come right back.
I can even grasp how Steph Curry is married to a woman who is acting like a bitter baby mama in the marriage. Like that is just it's mind-boggling to me. It really is. And it reminds me too because when I first started talking about this situation, we all know Red Table Talk happened and Ayesha Curry was there with her mother-in-law, okay? At the same table with Jada, which that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
And she was saying how she wasn't getting the same attention from men that Steph Curry gets from women. Well, of course not, sweetie, because he's the star. First of all. Second of all, if you're in a marriage and you're happy, why would you even want said attention? So that was like the first kind of strike that we saw going on. And then, there was a situation where she was on the talk show The Real. And, some guys came out and was serving drinks to the ladies. And she was like, forcefully like doing this gesture like, oh, I'm trying to keep my ring on, And then so now all those things have passed. And it comes like every time that people forget about that and are willing to give her grace, she comes right back to the forefront and does something else that's even more like, girl, just stop talking. Like just stop talking. And most recently she did an interview on the Call Me Daddy podcast in which I don't know what she was promoting. I really don't. I don't know what she was actually there for. But the woman who was doing the podcast was throwing her bones of admiration. And it was like Ayesha turned into Serena and was batting down all of the alley oops that the lady was trying to give her. Like, oh, well, it's amazing. Like, you have this amazing husband. And it's kind of like, oh, the guy in high school, I didn't even like him like that. Like, oh, so but you have these kids. Like, aren't you so happy? Kids? I didn't even want kids. And it's like everybody was like, what? Why?
So look, I'm so glad you said all that. I'm so glad you get all that out. Because see, I have a question for you. See, I watch you with not all, I've watched so many of your interviews. And I'm just going to get straight to it. Be honest. Do you think that most women are inherently evil or scammers? Do you think
Yeah.
that from what you see?
I do, and I definitely do say that. And the reason why I say that is because a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons being a lot of
It's
women don't
true. I'm
know.
sorry, go
It's
ahead.
true. Yeah, no, it's true. A lot of women don't know what they want, and so they get into these situations of what either their friends or their family or society tells them that they're supposed to do, and then they do all the right things to get there. And then when they get there, the real them comes out. And I feel like that's kind of a lot of like women are hormonal. right? We're completely different than men. But a lot of times, women are so wrapped up in their emotions and their feelings, which feelings are fleeting, and they make these brash decisions, and that's scary because a man who's stable, who's in a situation, can just wake up one day and be like, "Who is this?"
So I knew Corey and Rivah TV was going to be all over this. But, support Rivah TV. If you haven't subscribed to Rivah, man, make sure you go over there and subscribe to that sister, man. She's always putting down some real good content, holding women accountable. This is a black woman, and she holds women accountable because a lot of times as black men, when we say certain things, even though women know it's right, because we're men, they feel as though we don't have a right to speak on them. Now, they'll have sex with you and have your babies, but you ain't got a right to tell them what to do. Not all, but a lot of our women, right? This part of the dysfunction within our communities, right? Now, let's look at what Ayesha Curry actually said, right, when she was on this podcast this time, and then we'll come right back.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals, and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life.
Did you talk to Steph about it?
He tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, it's not true. So why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real. After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something, and then it kind of just disappeared, and I didn't think twice about it. But after my daughter turned 1, I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
If I have a career and I'm not home, like did you experience that?
I still experience that. I still experience that. I'm always in therapy talking about this. If you lose all of those things that were interesting about you, even for yourself, like even the things that made me feel confident and cool, then what do you do?
So again, as I always say, she's entitled to want what she wants. She has every right. It's her body, her choice. She's entitled to live her life. I'm for women's rights. But at the end of the day, you got a husband that also wants something. So this is the thing, I believe that she can feel the way that she feels. She has every right to feel the way she feels. I'm not a woman basher. She has every right to feel the way she feels or think the way that she thinks. She don't have to think like everybody else. It don't matter if she got a husband that got money. She has a right to have her own ideas, her own dreams, aspirations in mind. But the way she's going about handling it in the public is what I disagree with. These are conversations she should be having behind closed doors with her husband, not making this type of stuff public because it looks bad, right? Because there's people that may look at her and say, well, you ungrateful, because they're comparing their lifestyle to her lifestyle. So because of that, it actually shuts down her way of thinking, right? Now, I may disagree with it. I may disagree with her, but she's in her own body and she has her own mind, right? These are the things that she's thinking. But let's listen to the second half of what Corey and Rivas had to say.
Like it takes evolution for women to be, in my opinion, more stable, more calm, more logical thinking. Like I think
so. You think there's a way they can become logical thinkers? You think there's something on this planet that can make them that way?
I think it's never going to be the same as a man. But I think once they have a certain level of understanding and humility, which a lot of women do not have, that's the main problem. A lot of women don't have the humility enough to even listen, to receive, or to understand another person's point of view. So how can they listen and understand enough to even change or evolve or grow? You finna
get famous. You finna get famous for speaking honest.
But I hate to say it, but it's really true. And we're in an era now that like everybody is thinking that wrong is right and right is wrong. And we have to be true because I'm not like people, oh, she's a pick me or whatever. But I'm saying it because I love you, right? Like I love you. I want you to get it right. I want you to have good relationships. So I have to be honest with you. I can't lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, girl, she's a girl boss." Like I've seen so many women like, "Oh, so Ayesha is not allowed to have her own identity. She's not allowed to express herself." Of course she is. She's a woman. She has her own autonomy. Of course, your identity is not just being a wife and a mother. But why in expressing that do you have to disrespect him, embarrass him, and humiliate him on the forefront? Like,
The reason
I don't understand that.
it's so disrespectful what she does because she's a 6. Like, he's an NBA superstar, and he's with a 6. But this is why this is what I want to tell you to open your eyes where you might not think of it this way, Rivah. It's not all her. Steph Curry comes from a line of suckers. His dad was left by Steph Curry's mother. She was one of his friends.
Wow.
Or somebody he went to college with or somebody like that. Somebody she shouldn't have been messing with. Even though she was at the games clapping for her son, getting the shine, making herself be seen, standing up and everything. Steph Curry's brother was into it with another NBA player over a girl who belonged to the game. And now here is Steph Curry with not one, not two. He kept putting babies in something that he knew was broken. So when people say, Steph Curry ain't got no dirt on his name, yes, he do. The dirt on your name is your wife because your wife is walking all over you. So you can act like you're innocent if you just got in this. Is he got 4 babies with her?
I think 4 now.
He's 4 babies in with a girl who has real issues toward him. Because you don't talk about your people like that, especially your husband. So when we get to seeing what's happening, we have to give Steph Curry blame too, because why put so much effort into someone like that? And you know the reason people put effort into stuff like that is because men actually think that if they be Superman, they can change the way that person is. But through trial and error, I have stepped back and I watch how too many women, more women than not, act. And it's like they really are not sane and don't got a clue.
No, but I'm laughing because I know exactly what you're saying and I agree with you. Like, I agree because
Now, this is why I say in marriage, you have to always cover each other. You have to cover your wife at all times. You have to cover your husband. If you can't sit down and have these type of conversations with your wife or husband, there's something wrong. Y'all not evenly yoked. You're supposed to be able to use your words and have the communication, right? You're supposed to be spiritually connected and bonded, right? So whatever it is that's going on with his wife, I gotta call Steph a sim too, because my wife ain't coming out here doing none of that kind of stuff. We're gonna have some issues, right? We're gonna either figure it out together, walk this walk together, or we ain't gonna be walking at all. Because you're unbalanced now, right? You're out of alignment. The car needs an alignment now. We're not rolling together, right? We're not rolling together as one. So teamwork make the dream work, right? I've been doing this 25 years, man. We got to sit down, reassess things, reevaluate things, have conversations. So I know a lot of women what she's saying right now. This is the thing. Let's just say Steph Curry wasn't who he was, and he was just Steph Curry, the plumber, right? And she was saying the stuff she was saying. A lot of people wouldn't have a problem with what she's saying. But because he's Steph Curry, the $100 million, he has all kinds of money. Now she's looked at as being ungrateful. And I'm not just saying it's just to take her side. I'm just looking at it from both sides of the spectrum, right? If he was just regular Joe Blow, nobody would have a problem with what she's saying. But because he has money, they have a problem. They calling her ungrateful. My thing is, there's a lot of women that think like this. Hey, before I met you, I didn't think about having children. I didn't think about being married. I didn't grow up in a house where I saw my mom and dad married. I saw an independent woman, my mother, doing all this work. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get my career. I wanted to do this. And then I met you, right? And when it first happened, I wasn't ready for it, right? I get it. I sort of experienced a little bit of this when I first got with my wife, right? She was truly independent. Already had a son and was used to doing everything on her own. And she had to learn how to let me lead and let me balance certain things out. Now, I don't have the money Stephen Curry has, right? But the way she's talking, let me tell you something. There's a lot of women that think like her. They just not going public. They didn't dream of having the children, of all that. They still was living their lives. They want to turn up. They want to go out. They want to have fun. They felt like a lot of women, and this is me, she felt like her life stopped. And her dreams and aspirations stopped when she met her husband, because now everything came about fulfilling his purpose and walking in his purpose. She never got a chance to fulfill her own purpose. So I don't think it's just all about her trying to be a hoe or 304 or go out and wild out. I just think that she had her own dreams and aspirations. Now, this is the thing. She signed on for it because she know the benefits that come with it, right? And she knew that had she the one things that she want, it's not going to suit well with him in order for her to be his wife. So that's the conundrum that she's going through. But what she's saying ain't it's not foreign, because a lot of women think like that. And I don't think that it's all bad. I don't think that it's all good. I just think it's worth a conversation. And I don't think that she should be going public with it. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.